Then Meek Mill came, but he couldn't get financing.
Meek Mill couldn't give him financing?
They don't.
These guys,
nothing,
they're full of
Yeah,
The timeline didn't just react, it erupted. Because when 50 Cent and Meek Mill appear in the same sentence next to the word money, social media doesn't scroll casually. It grabs a calculator and a megaphone. Alleged wealth talk started circulating. And suddenly everyone became a financial analyst with zero credentials but unlimited opinions. Screenshots flew like leaked documents. Comment sections turned into digital trading floors. And within minutes, people were picking sides like it was playoff season. Was it playful? Was it pointed? Or was it a masterclass in strategic trolling? In hip-hop, money isn't just currency. It's status, power, and branding wrapped in diamond chains. So when financial positioning becomes part of public conversation, things escalate fast. And trust me, this escalated quickly. It started the way most internet firestorms do, with a post that didn't look explosive at first glance. Just a few words, a little tone, a little edge. And then suddenly, the timeline reacted like someone rang the bell at the New York Stock Exchange and yelled, "Audit season!" Because when 50 Cent and Meek Mill get mentioned in the same breath, especially next to the word money, the internet does not stay calm. Alleged wealth commentary began circulating, and reaction pages moved at lightning speed. Dramatic captions appeared within minutes. Words like clash, shade, and financial beef started floating around like confetti at a parade nobody asked for. And once those words enter the narrative, there's no such thing as quiet interpretation. There's only escalation. In hip-hop culture, money isn't just numbers on a screen. It's symbolism, it's validation, it's branding wrapped in platinum chains and business ventures. So when financial positioning becomes part of public conversation, it doesn't land softly. It lands heavy, and heavy topics trend. Supporters of 50 Cent framed the moment as classic digital chess. They argue that he understands social media mechanics better than most influencers. To them, this wasn't conflict, it was calculated engagement. A reminder that he can spark global conversation without stepping into a studio. In the attention economy, relevance is currency. Meanwhile, Meek Mill's supporters rallied immediately. They emphasized accomplishments, longevity, and public milestones. They pushed back against the framing, arguing that internet narratives rarely reflect full context. And with two strong fan bases activated, the algorithm had no choice but to spotlight the exchange. What makes Part 01 compelling isn't confirmed details, it's interpretation. Without a press conference or formal explanation, audiences began filling in the blanks. Was this playful trolling? Competitive energy? A subtle jab? Social media thrives on ambiguity. The less clarity available, the louder speculation becomes. The framing by reaction pages amplified everything. Even neutral commentary can feel aggressive once labeled as a clash. The choice of words shapes perception before context can catch up, and perception spreads faster than correction every single time. Another factor fueling the fire was history. 50 Cent has built a reputation on sharp, public commentary. His online persona blends sarcasm with confidence in a way that guarantees engagement. So when he posts, audiences expect sparks. That expectation alone increases reaction intensity. On the other side, Meek Mill carries a narrative rooted in resilience and visibility. His supporters are quick to defend any implication that touches reputation. In hip-hop, credibility matters. Financial discussions, even implied ones, intersect directly with that credibility. And credibility is fiercely guarded. Memes entered the chat within hours. One viral post joked that Instagram had turned into Rap Wall Street. Another compared the timeline to a financial reality show with no commercial breaks. Humor became the coping mechanism for tension. But beneath the jokes, debate simmered. The comment sections became battlegrounds of interpretation. Some applauded boldness, saying competitive banter is part of the culture. Others criticized what they viewed as unnecessary escalation. And neutral observers simply enjoyed the spectacle unfold. Because spectacle is entertainment, and entertainment drives clicks. What's fascinating is how quickly perception solidified. Within hours, audiences had already chosen sides. Once sides are chosen online, they rarely soften. The narrative becomes sticky. Even without new information, it persists because engagement feeds it. The debate shifted from specific claims to broader themes: ego, branding, strategy, social media power. The wealth conversation became symbolic of larger dynamics in hip-hop culture. It wasn't just about numbers, it was about positioning. Speculation also fueled momentum. Without confirmed context, viewers began building theories. Was this related to business ventures, past interviews, competitive positioning? The absence of clarity created room for imagination. And imagination online rarely stays modest. Another layer of intensity came from anticipation. People weren't just reacting to what was said, they were waiting for what might come next. Would there be a response? A follow-up post? A cryptic caption? In digital culture, suspense extends the lifespan of any story. Part 01 shows how quickly commentary transforms into confrontation. A single post, interpreted through dramatic framing, becomes a headline. That headline becomes debate. That debate becomes narrative. And narrative shapes public memory. It also highlights how money functions differently in hip-hop than in other industries. Financial success isn't private, it's performed. It's rapped about, it's displayed, it's celebrated. So when wealth enters public conversation between major names, the stakes feel higher. The loudest takeaway from this chapter isn't confirmed wealth claims. It's the reaction itself. It's how quickly social media converts tone into tension. It's how framing can amplify interpretation into perceived rivalry. And now the timeline sits in anticipation mode, watching, refreshing, waiting. Because if history has taught audiences anything, moments involving 50 Cent rarely end with one post. Whether escalation happens or not, the suspense alone keeps engagement high. The second wave didn't arrive quietly, it kicked the door in. What started as a few interpreted posts transformed into full-blown commentary season. Reaction channels went live, TikTok stitches stacked up like remixes. Twitter threads read like investigative documentaries with zero budgets and maximum confidence. And suddenly, what may have been simple online commentary felt like a cultural referendum on wealth and ego. Influencers jumped in fast. Some defended the competitive spirit, saying hip-hop has always thrived on bravado. If you talk about money in lyrics, interviews, and captions, then wealth becomes fair game in conversation. To them, this was scoreboard energy, strategic, calculated, pure digital chess. Others weren't buying that explanation. They argued that public wealth positioning, even when wrapped in humor, carries implications. In a genre where financial success equals credibility, even perceived shade can spark narrative shifts. And narrative shifts online move faster than
correction ever could. The meme economy reached peak performance. One viral graphic labeled Instagram the NASDAQ of rap.
another joke that someone needed to call the Hip-Hop Securities Exchange Commission. The jokes were creative, chaotic, and relentless. But beneath the humor was a growing discussion about perception management. Speculation became the real fuel. Without concrete clarification, viewers began constructing elaborate timelines. Was there a deeper business angle? Was this marketing strategy disguised as rivalry? Was it simply 50 being 50? Social media thrives on unanswered questions. And this moment delivered plenty. Supporters on both sides amplified the intensity. Meek Mill's defenders highlighted accomplishments, public wins, and entrepreneurial ventures. 50 Cent's supporters pointed to his long-standing reputation for fearless online commentary. Neither side showed signs of backing down. And when fan bases collide, the algorithm smiles. Another twist entered the narrative: timing. Audiences began analyzing when the posts appeared. Was it coincidental? Was it reactive? Theories multiplied quickly. And once theories multiply, the lifespan of the story extends automatically. The conversation shifted beyond the two names involved. Commentators began discussing flex culture in hip-hop at large. They questioned whether public financial positioning strengthens branding or risks backlash. Wealth talk, they argued, is both a tool and a trigger. It can elevate image or invite scrutiny. Reaction videos added another layer of heat. Creators dissected tone, punctuation, and emoji usage like digital detectives. Some promised the real story. Others leaned fully into satire. Every upload added fresh oxygen. Engagement numbers climbed, and the narrative stayed alive. What's fascinating about Part 02 is that confirmed details weren't required to sustain momentum. The reaction itself was enough. The spectacle became self-sustaining. Each new comment, meme, or hot take revived the conversation. The debate also revealed how quickly audiences align themselves with identity over information. Loyalty often overrides nuance. Once fans commit to a perspective, they defend it passionately. And passionate defense trends. Meanwhile, neutral observers treated it like entertainment. Not picking sides, just watching the fireworks. Because let's be honest, in a digital culture saturated with headlines, spectacle sells. The intensity eventually matured into analysis. Commentators began focusing on branding implications. In hip-hop, wealth isn't just private success, it's public performance. So any commentary about money intersects with image management. And image management is business. Part 02 demonstrates how quickly tone can shape narrative. Even without a formal statement or documented figures, perception formed rapidly. And once perception hardens, it becomes part of the public storyline. Another interesting shift was the suspense around potential escalation. Would there be a response? A subtle clapback? A follow-up post with sharper energy? Silence became a storyline of its own. In online culture, quiet moments often feel louder than noise. The longer the debate lasted, the more it evolved. It wasn't just about wealth claims anymore. It was about ego, marketing strategy, and the art of digital relevance. In a world where attention equals power, sparking conversation can be as valuable as ending it. Part 02 ends not with clarity, but with heightened awareness. The audience is more invested. The narrative has more layers. And both names remain trending in the algorithm spotlight. The real story isn't confirmed numbers. It's influence. It's how quickly a few interpreted words can ignite cultural discourse. It's how digital audiences transform commentary into spectacle. Now the timeline watches carefully, waiting to see if this moment cools down or reignites. Because in the world of viral culture, stories don't fade. They pause. As the noise slowly began to cool. Something more powerful than the initial reaction settled in perception. The memes started to fade from the top of the feed. The reaction videos slowed down. The dramatic captions weren't flashing quite as loudly, but the narrative, that stayed. Because once money talk trends in hip-hop, it doesn't just disappear. It lingers in the background like a hook you can't stop replaying. What shifted in this phase wasn't volume, it was tone. The explosive outrage matured into quiet analysis. Commentators moved from shouting to dissecting. They began discussing how moments like this affect branding long-term. In an industry where wealth is intertwined with image, even perceived financial tension can shape how audiences interpret confidence, credibility, and positioning moving forward. For 50 Cent, the aftermath reinforced an existing reputation. He's known for fearless online commentary, strategic trolling, and knowing exactly how to spark engagement without releasing new music. Whether people love it or criticize it, his digital presence thrives on reaction. And reaction equals relevance. In today's attention economy, staying relevant is its own form of leverage. For Meek Mill, the impact played out differently. Supporters doubled down on highlighting achievements and business moves. They pushed narratives of resilience and continued success. The conversation shifted toward protecting image rather than responding to tone. And that defensive energy kept engagement alive even without new statements. What's fascinating about this chapter is that confirmed financial details were never the centerpiece. The spectacle revolved around interpretation. It was about how words were received, not necessarily what was proven. In digital culture, reception often outweighs intention. And once audiences form impressions, those impressions linger. Another subtle consequence is how this moment becomes part of digital memory. Social media archives everything. The next time either name trends, this chapter resurfaces in comment sections. Remember when becomes the bridge back to this narrative. Viral debates don't vanish. They stack. The silence that followed also played a role. Without an immediate escalation or direct rebuttal, the story shifted into anticipation. Mode. Silence online is rarely interpreted as neutrality. Some read it as strategic restraint. Others interpret it as confidence. Either way, the quiet adds suspense. Brand implications quietly hover in the background as well. Both figures operate in spaces beyond music, business ventures, partnerships, public branding. When money becomes part of public discourse, it intersects with that broader ecosystem. Even if nothing concrete shifts, perception influences business conversations behind closed doors. Part 03 also highlights the life cycle of viral culture. Spark, explosion, debate, reflection, anticipation. Each stage feeds the next. The original post may have been brief, but the ripple effect extended for days. That's the power of tone and timing combined with high-profile names. Interestingly, the most powerful takeaway isn't about numbers at all. It's about narrative control. In online arenas, whoever controls the tone often controls the story. Even if there's no formal resolution, shaping perception becomes the quiet victory. The timeline eventually moves on. It always does. Another headline takes center stage. Another debate grabs attention. But this moment doesn't vanish completely. It becomes context. It influences how audiences interpret future interactions. It adds texture to public image. For viewers, the lesson is layered. Some see it as competitive banter, part of the culture's DNA. Others view it as unnecessary escalation in an industry already fueled by ego. But regardless of perspective, engagement happened. And engagement sustains digital presence. The most revealing aspect of this chapter is how quickly commentary transformed into spectacle. No official statements. No financial documents. Just perception amplified by framing. That amplification shaped discourse far more than confirmed facts ever could. As the dust settles, one thing remains clear. In the digital era, tone can spark storms. A few interpreted words can ignite days of debate. And once perception forms, it becomes part of public identity. The story may pause here. It may never escalate further. Or it may resurface at the next unexpected moment. Because in hip-hop culture, where wealth and ego are intertwined, financial positioning will always be a sensitive topic. And in social media culture, sensitive topics trend. Was this just classic competitive energy between two heavy hitters? Or did the wealth talk turn the timeline into something bigger than it needed to be? Because let's be honest, one round of online commentary had the internet acting like it was earnings. Season in hip-hop. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Pick a side. Stay neutral. Or break it down like a digital strategist. Was this calculated trolling? Branding genius? Ego flexing? Or just social media doing what it does best, turning sparks into wildfires? If you made it this far, smash that like button like it owes you money.